And it started to feel very much like a kind of like a psychedelic experience, this massive expansion of my consciousness. I was in this very altered state. Hey, what's up, guys? So I wanted to share what it was like for me the first time I had non-ejaculatory sex. This was a while ago, right? And this was when I had been practicing sexual kung fu on my own, getting familiar with the microcosmic orbit, learning to channel sexual energy upwards and things like that. So I was kind of a beginner at this point, right? But I hadn't had sex using this techniques yet. So it was kind of my trial run, we could say, right? And so when I started having sex, I focused on keeping my mind and my body calm, focused on bringing the energy through my body. So it was the first time I had gone into sex not being too goal oriented, other than, having the goal of not ejaculating, right? And it was such a different and profound experience for me, because in the past I felt like all my other sexual experiences were, there's a bit of anxiety involved, or a lot of like goal oriented approach, like, okay, I need to, I really need to reach this ejaculatory orgasm, because it feels so good, then it's gone and it's over, right? Or I would be like, uh-oh, I don't know if I'm pleasing my partner, or how long am I going to last? So there was always like these kind of mental projections in sex, which actually kept me from enjoying what was happening in the present moment. So with this first experience I had of non-ejaculatory sex, I was focusing on simply staying relaxed and open and just feeling the energy. It was like with every movement, I felt the pleasure in my genitals, and I focused on moving it up my body, moving it up my spine. And I started to get into this full body state of just this orgasmic pulsation, and it felt really, really good. And just focusing on that was enough to kind of keep my mind occupied and keep me in this very meditative state. I was just feeling what was happening, and it felt really, really good. And I was focusing on connecting with my partner, sending energy into her. And it was like this electricity started to build between our bodies, and that orgasmic state in my body started to build and build and build. And I started to get this like feeling of butterflies in my stomach, and I started to get the sense of like expanding beyond my body, and it started to feel very much like a kind of like a psychedelic experience, this massive expansion of my consciousness. I was in this very altered state, and this went on for a long period of time. It went on for about an hour, maybe more, and we didn't finish because it was like, oh, I ejaculated, we have to stop. That wasn't the case. It was like, okay, we've both been in this orgasmic state of energy exchange for a long period of time, and we kind of reached this point where it's like, I feel complete. Let's just kind of lay here and sit in the energy. And after this, I came out of it not just wanting to go to sleep. I was energized. I felt creative. I picked up my guitar and I started like just kind of jamming a song to get the feeling through of what I was feeling. And it was just this amazing experience. I was in such this heightened state of bliss. I was so energized. I felt so creative. I felt so alive and connected. And in that moment, I was like, wow, this is why I used to take, drugs and substances. This is why people, spend all this time, trying to get high, because they're trying to reach the state I'm in right now. This is amazing, but I did this completely naturally, completely organically, just by working with my sexual energy and opening up. And I was a bit worried that, maybe this is just like an accidental experience and it's never going to be like this again. But what I found was that over and over again, I was able to recreate this kind of experience. And that's what happens when you approach sex in this way, as a method of cultivating energy, of opening yourself up, of connecting with your partner. It's very, very profound. It gets you higher than anything else can. And it's completely natural. It's completely organic, completely sustainable. And that's one of the reasons I became so passionate about sexual kung fu. And this energy that I was building in my body from having these kinds of experiences was driving me in my life. It started to make me so much more creative, so much more focused, so much more just optimistic and feeling great about my life. And this is one of the ways I transitioned from really being stuck in my life, doing things that did not fulfill me, drinking alcohol, taking drugs. I completely let go of these things, and I started to get high naturally from my Qigong practice and from sexual kung fu practice, from conscious non-ejaculatory sex. And I started to really put my energy into conscious things, into developing myself, into learning business skills. And, eventually I created a 6-figure business for myself. And these things happened not out of force and like, grinding, but out of living very orgasmically, cultivating my sexual energy, doing the things I enjoyed, and everything flowed for me. And this is the potential that everyone has. This is the potential that our sexual experiences should bring for me. But unfortunately, we've forgotten how. We've been conditioned to experience sex in this kind of low vibrational state. But the good news is that you can change this. You can transform this dynamic and step into the highest version of yourself using your sexual energy.